Today we're going over 6 things you should do before you list your house in the springtime. Now, if you're new here, my name's Spencer Lowe. I'm with United Real Estate Louisville. Make sure you click that subscribe button as well as that bell notification so you never miss another market update or a video just like this with buyer and seller tips. Now, the first thing we want to make sure that we do is we want to make sure that we prep the house right. Now, I do have a handful of videos on this, but a couple things that we can do is we can make sure that we focus on making sure the house is clean, it smells good, and then also remove some extra furniture as well as rugs. A lot of times rugs have a tendency to cut a room in half and the room only feels as big as that rug is. So if we pull up some of the rugs, get rid of some of the extra furniture, it makes the house look a lot bigger and it shows a lot better. A couple other things is maybe open up the windows, clean the windows, and then also make sure that we've got some mirrors hanging around, because let's be honest, when you bounce around the natural light, the house looks a lot bigger, and a well-lit house is really inviting and warm and it makes it feel like home, and buyers don't buy houses, they buy homes. Now, the second thing we want to focus on is we want to focus on the curb appeal of the house. And let's be honest, the curb appeal is our first impressions. Whether somebody's just driving the neighborhood and they happen to see a for sale sign, or they see it on Zillow or Realtor.com, they're probably going to see the outside of the house before they see any of the inside of the house. So we really want to make sure that our first impressions count. We want to make sure the grass is cut, fresh coat of mulch, cut the shrubs back. We also want to make sure that we freshen it up with maybe some fresh flowers, fresh layer of mulch, as well as maybe some fertilizer on the front yard, water the front yard. Different things like that have a huge impact on the way a buyer sees the property and feels about the property. The other thing is make sure that we power wash the sidewalks, shutters, gutters, as well as if the house has siding on it, we might go ahead and power wash that too, because it has a tendency to get kind of grimy. So power washing that, making it look really fresh and clean, makes a huge impact on the way it looks from the street. And a lot more buyers are going to click on it on Zillow, Realtor.com, and they're going to inquire about that for sale sign in the yard. Now, the third thing we want to focus on is we want to make sure that we stage the house correctly. Now, when it comes to staging in the springtime, it's really easy. We want to make sure that we have lots of natural light. So open up all the windows, maybe add a couple mirrors here and there to bounce around that natural light. And then the other thing is just adding fresh flowers, maybe a bowl of fruit, or if you're buying decorations like throw pillows or just a throw blanket over the top of the couch, make sure that they're in like Easter kind of springtime colors, pastel colors, derby colors. Has a huge impact on the way a buyer feels about the property, because they feel like it's staged for the spring and they're already imagining themselves living there and how they're going to decorate it and different things they do to the house. So giving them ideas doesn't hurt, and it also helps the buyer feel like it's home and they want to move into a home. They don't want to move into a house and then turn it into a home. So make sure that we stage it correctly for the time of year. Has a huge impact on the way a buyer feels about that property. Now, the fourth thing we want to focus on is how photogenic the house is. Now, a couple things that we can do here is make sure that we minimize, and when we come to stage, we want to make sure that we remove the extra throw rugs, extra furniture, make sure the decorations are out. Different things like that have a huge impact on how it looks in pictures. But the other thing that we can do that a lot of people don't talk about is go through the house with your cell phone and take a bunch of pictures. And the reason that we do this is because the countertops don't look like they're overcrowded when you're in person, but when we take a picture of it, all of a sudden the countertops look like there's a ton of stuff on it, and in reality it's just a handful of bags of chips, it's a toaster, it's the coffee pot, and a handful of other things. But when you take a picture of it, it really looks overcrowded. So making sure that before we get professional photos and videos back, that we actually go through the house, take pictures with our cell phone. They're not going to go anywhere, they're just for us to see how the camera shows off the house, and then we can go through those pictures and say, okay, countertops are way overcrowded, let's go ahead and move a lot of that stuff so that way it looks better in the professional photos. And just doing that makes a huge impact on the way the pictures are going to show up, and then when we put them out, they're going to look a lot better on Zillow and Realtor.com, and a lot more people are going to look at the house because the pictures look a lot better. Now, the fifth thing we want to make sure that we do is we want to make sure that we price it according to the market. We don't want to price it over, and we also don't want to price it over. We want to price it right on what it's worth, because that's what actually sells it. So in today's market, the market's kind of looked at as the dating market. If it sits for too long, people start to wonder what's wrong with it. So we want to make sure that it's getting exposure. We want to make sure that it's on the market and actually priced correctly. And if we overprice it, a lot of buyers aren't going to come in. And if we underprice it, people are going to wonder what's wrong. So if we price it correctly from the start, it makes a huge impact. And if you are curious about what your home is worth, I do have a free calculator down below. You can put in your address and it'll give you an instant home evaluation estimate. And if you've done renovations, updates, or repairs, different things that might make a difference on that the computer doesn't know about, give me a call. I'd love to run some numbers for you. I've got my cell phone down below. And the sixth thing we want to make sure that we do is we want to make sure that we maximize the social media exposure. Now, I do a couple things when it comes to the social media exposure for your house. Is we do paid for ads for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And the reason that we do this is because we can target a 15-mile radius and really drive that video of your house to thousands of people in a matter of a couple days versus postcards that take 2 weeks. So if you are curious about getting my full social media strategy for your house, give me a call. I've got my phone number down below. I'd love to talk to you. And if you made it to this point in the video, I really appreciate you sticking around. Make sure you give the video a like if you got something out of it, as well as click that bell notification and the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. Once again, my name's Spencer Lowe. I'm with United Real Estate Louisville, and I'll see you in the next one.